Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Drinks with Neo. That's right, guys. This is episode 10. Episode 10, baby. That's right, guys. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Neo Prime 12, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. You guys know, let's roll the tape and let's get this bad boy started. Well, hello, everybody. Hello, my name is Neo Prime 12. I am your host tonight, as always, with Drinks with Neo. Guys, I have the amazing, the awesome, the beautiful PHXonFire here with me tonight, guys. Hello, Phoenix. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me now? Hello?
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
I feel like he's talking to me.
I was talking to you. I thought I undeafened and unmuted. So that's the wonderful thing about this show is it's uncut and everything like that. So, you know, it's going to be like, is he talking to me or what? Type of thing.
Smile and wave.
Hi, I don't think he knows he can't hear me. We're starting off with a bang already. But as always, we start off the show with some kind of cheers, some kind of drink. But I just want to introduce what I am drinking. So there is a place up in northern Maryland in Frederick, right above Frederick. It's called Springfield Mannor. They have a distillery, a winery, and a brewery all in one. So they make beer, wine, and spirits at one spot. It's an old tobacco farm. So which is crazy. So I am drinking Carmel Whiskey. So it's like a caramel whiskey. And it's a little special occasion. They only make this a certain time of the year, and they only make so many. And I was able to go to a lavender festival, and I was able to pick it up. So a little bottle of it. It's pretty cool. We're gonna drink it during this special occasion. What are you drinking tonight?
No. Take a wild guess.
Oh, I think it's a Bud Light Apple.
It's a Bud Light Apple.
You so predictable, girl. But
I tried to get it in a fancy cup. It has my name on it and everything.
Oh shit, that is fancy.
There's dust in here for sure. It was in my shelf right here.
You didn't clean it out before?
I blew it.
Oh God!
No. It did the trick, I think. I don't know.
Oh my God! I can't believe you.
She's a little dusty, but that's okay.
All right, well, here you go. As always, we started off. Cheers.
Cheers. Tastes different at a cup. How's yours?
It's good. It tastes like a sweet whiskey. So I love it. Let me put it away so it stays cold real quick. But so let's start off. Let's kind of dive right into it. On this episode, we're going to be talking about like your streaming, a little bit of your streaming, how you got into it, how you got into gaming, things like that. And then we're going to talk about the big old topic of subject you want to talk about is the Indigenous people of Canada. We're going to get into all that this episode. I'm super excited for this conversation to bring light to a situation in Canada. I mean, not only is it important in Canada, it is important in America as well. Of a subject. And one of the things that we do want to say is, guys, Phoenix was on time. Phoenix was on time. My ass was late. I fell asleep on the couch and I messaged her at like 7:30 my time, and I said, I just woke up and I gotta feed the animals still. So I want to say Phoenix was on time for this whole thing. Yes, we are 20 minutes late for this conversation, but I'm glad that we were able to have it, and she still waited for me. So I want to say thank you so much for waiting for me. I appreciate that. So
thank you so much. Thanks for showing up. I mean,
I know, right? I was late for an important date. But anyways, so we're gonna talk about a little bit about your gaming history and things like that. Let's talk about let's jump right into it. When growing up, what are some of your favorite games that you played growing up as a little Phoenix?
Little Phoenix, little tot.
Little tot.
So I grew up with two older brothers. My brothers are 11 and 14 years older than I am. And then I have cousins around that age too. So my first gaming console that I think I've played was Nintendo, Super Mario Brothers. I remember Super Mario Brothers 3, the one with like the raccoon tail or
Yeah.
raccoon tail? Yeah. I remember that. So whenever they would go out, which is often because they're older than me, I would play it by myself. Late nights at my grandma's house in the basement. Oh, and then we got a Sega, I think it was a Sega Genesis Sonic. That was my favorite. And then we got into like the Game Boy, Pokemon. You know how I feel about Pokemon.
Yeah, oh my God. She is a Pokemon nerd, let me tell you. She is absolutely a Pokemon nerd. Like, apparently she could tell me every single episode, every 52 episodes. There's like 52 episodes, or 58, I think, in the first season of Pokemon in the Indigo League. She could talk about every single thing. But yeah, Sonic. So that's one system I never owned, was the Sega Genesis. Never touched the Sega Genesis, and things like that. The fact that you can speak about Pokemon are crazy, but she could do like word for word. One episode, one stream I had, she was sitting here telling me everything, all these Pokemon names and stuff. And then we had to play the movie, the ending. I love that song.
Oh,
brother.
My goodness.
Oh my God, yes.
I could still cry.
Such a good movie.
The movie's really good. And then they have like a pre-movie before the movie, which is also equally good.
Yep.
So, I mean, we can have a movie night on Discord.
Yeah, you absolutely could. It is crazy the amount of Pokemon knowledge you have. I was personally shocked. You were telling me things. I'm like, you were quoting word for word. I was like, how the fuck do you remember this shit? I can't even remember what I had for dinner last night. What the fuck?
I had the VHS episodes. Yeah.
So, but yeah, but actually, the Pokemon is actually up on Netflix now. The first the Indigo League.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was gonna go through and watch all of them. So that was one of the things. So Sonic. So I actually had a Dreamcast. Have you ever heard of Dreamcast?
Mm-hmm.
Yo,
that's another thing I played.
Dreamcast was like one of the first like things that I played that got me into like the high end games. There was a tennis game I used to play all the time. And it looked so good. That's how it's kind of what got me into tennis, liking tennis. So
wait, it was a Dreamcast. So my brothers, I don't know, they had it rigged up somehow. Like, I don't know what they did, but they had all the games, every single game. I mean, don't tell. It was like, I don't know. But like Bomberman was up there for me.
Yeah.
Bomberman was
a great game. We had it on Super Nintendo, and then we had the multiplayer extension where 4 people can play at the same time.
Oh yeah.
So, love it.
Bring us back. Let's do retro games.
Oh my God. Yeah, retro games are so much fun.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what though, when I tell you we had a lot of Nintendo games, I'll tell you we had a lot of Nintendo games. We used to travel to Michigan every like holiday, every 3-day weekend and stuff like that. And we had the full-size van that had the TV, the VCR, and a Nintendo in it.
Oh my God!
So we would we would travel. Dude, I would love to have that van right now. That would be the pimp mobile.
Just hop in the back, girl.
Yeah, it came with the bed. The back seat folded down to a bed.
Calm down.
I know, Felix. I'm about to say you need to relax, girl. Woo!
What kind of van was that?
It's a full size. Van. It's you had your you had your Astro vans. I don't know if you know that brand, the Astro van, but then you had like your full size vans that had the bed, TV. Like they had 2 captain seats in the middle.
Oh, that's swivel. Did they swivel?
They didn't. No? Not yet. And then they had the bench was a back seat, and with the bench it folded down to a bed. Now Astro Vans had that, but it was more or less space. But these full size vans had all the space, like storage and stuff like that. It came with like shades that you could pull down on the sides and stuff like that. They were nice. It was great.
House on wheels.
Yeah, basically it was good. I have having 3 brothers and stuff like that, and also all traveling back and forth, and had enough space for all of us.
Yeah.
And the bed was nice, so you could switch drivers, and the one driver could sleep. And then,
there you go.
Yeah. So 11-hour trips. I know 11-hour trips weren't so bad.
That's a long ride.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Hey, I guess it was worth it to do the C family, right? So. So you started off with good old Super Mario Brothers and stuff like that. Brothers left and got into Sonic, things like that. What are some of the games you started to progress to after that, like growing up, I guess your teenage years and becoming a young Phoenix?
Yeah, so it was, I think that I remember it was Call of Duty in high school. My boyfriend at the time always played, like was always on the game. Like we couldn't do anything, like, hello, can you come, like, give me some attention, blah, blah, blah. Like, so I was like, if you can't beat them, join them, So that's when I started. I believe it was Modern Warfare 2 is when I started getting into it. Okay. And the first time I played, my character was looking up or looking down. I was trying to run. I didn't know what I was doing. But then I progressively got better. And then Black Ops came out, and I loved Black Ops. And then played the zombies. So I kept on playing, and I was like, hey, I'm pretty good. Yeah.
So you started to enjoy the game, not just that. Yeah. You played it to hang out with the boyfriend, and then you decided, you know what? I don't need you, boyfriend, no more. I'm going to go play this game by myself.
Yeah, see ya. And then I got better than him. I got better than my brothers. I mean, It
just happens. It happens like that.
Yeah. But
go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I think it started to go down. So it was a big high for me, like Black Ops 2, and then Black Ops 3. Sorry, was it Ghosts? I don't know. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I might step on a lot of people's toes. And then the Infinite Warfare was I could play, but it was just I didn't like jumping on walls, and then I stopped playing for a little bit.
Okay. What brought you back?
I think it was the Modern Warfare, the one before Call of Duty Warzone. Was it Warzone? Because the Black Ops 4 I didn't really play either.
So I think during those times is when starting Destiny came out, and Halo. I was big into Halo, Destiny, and stuff like that. So I got into the COD ring a lot later. Later than people. So playing COD and stuff like that, and really COD came to me was I played Modern Warfare, War at War, things like that, and I played those. I played them, but they wasn't my main games. When Destiny came out and Halo, and from that Halo progression into Destiny and stuff like that. I tell you, when I grinded Destiny, we played 7 days a week, 4 hours a night. That was a grind and a half right there. It was absolutely wild. But yeah, so then COD really took off for me. It was probably two years ago when Warzone came out in the battle royales and playing them. And then for me, multiplayer, I don't really play the multiplayer version, but yeah, I play I'll play some Vanguard for a little bit. It's actually not that bad. So I kind of enjoy Vanguard. I kind of enjoyed some of the multiplayers, but like you said, jumping off walls and things like that is different. So
yeah, there was this kid. So I was playing with him on Call of Duty, the Warzone, and he was I don't know, he was just trying to run his game, and I'm like, you are 12. Sit your ass down. But he was how long have you played? And I'm as long, when were you born? He was 2010. I'm that's when I started playing Call of Duty. So whoa.
Yeah. Kids.
So yeah, it's been about
so toxic.
They're a different breed now.
Oh my goodness, the shit talking that they do now. I'm holy crap.
They're ruthless. Where's your mom? Where's your mom?
Long story.
Put your mom on the mic. Let's have a conversation.
Do you kiss your mom with those lips? Because she won't let you do that. I know that. Holy smokes! Like,
or maybe she does. I don't know. Like,
I felt so bad yesterday. We were at I was at Dave and Buster's last night, and I felt so bad. Someone said something, and I was like, "Hey, does anybody need a drink?" And I was like, and one of the girls were drunk, and I was like, "Hey, have you ate anything yet?" And she said, "No." I said, "Well, do you want something?" She's like, "Fries." I said, "Okay." I told the bartender, and I was like, "Can you add an order of fries to my drinks?" And he's like, "Yeah." But I was like, "Make sure they go to her." And I pointed to her, and she kind of got an attitude with me because I thought thought I was adding them to her tab. No, that's it. And I go, "No." I turn around to her. I was like, "Do you think I'm gonna offer you something?" And I'm not a dick. And there's a mom with 2 little kids walking by me, and I go, I was like, "Oh, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And she goes, "They've heard a lot worse. Don't worry about it." I'm about to say, but. And everybody looked at me and started laughing. I was like, I'm just apologizing because I don't want these kids running around talking like this. There's someone, I mean, honestly, in a place of like a bar and gaming place, it's gonna happen. But still, I would like the person to apologize for cussing in front of the children. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
They're like 4 and 5 years old running around.
I've heard a lot worse.
So, but man, I felt so bad.
Different breed.
The kids on these headsets, holy shit, the DEFCONs we hear these days are wild. Absolutely wild. I mean, you being a female, you hear a lot worse, so.
Being a female, like, it's tough. Like, sometimes I don't want to turn on my microphone just because you hear it. Like, I've heard it all, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I'd rather just not hear it than to actually, like, talk.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. But it's surprising when you find like a nice person nice, like, younger, like, male that is not even younger, but like respectful.
Go on.
Yeah, so it's sometimes when I'm playing alone, I don't turn on my mic, and people get mad, they leave, whatever. But it's just like the reality of, like, I don't want to engage in something that's negative.
I thought you were about to start describing something real nice, and then you're gonna be like, "Yeah, that's Neo."
Oh, you said go ahead. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just
Neo's really.
I was
gotta have like a sign or something to like compliment me.
Can I get a compliment, please? Thank you. There's I tried to set up a softball for you to hit it out the park. Yeah, missed it.
Oh, you said go ahead, so I was like, okay, well, I don't know.
I don't think you saw me like lean in and go. I
did, but then
you can do it. Oh man, went right over the head. I love it. So you play a lot of COD and stuff like that now. And so you are previously new to streaming, like. You're really like you're in your streaming infancy phase, I would say. And by the way, your new setup behind you looks amazing, guys. This is the first debut of her look. She worked hard with the lighting behind it. She has a nice little lava lamp, I can tell. Some pictures of the family behind her, the other shoulder with the PC. I mean, she got some long ass cords now to plug stuff in.
Yeah, I had to get like lots of outlets, like lots of those like plug-in things.
Yep.
And so I got like this whole setup. I was like, just for Neo, let me just show off.
For me, just to show off. Okay.
But yeah, I always blended into the wall. Like if I'm wearing black, then I always blended into the wall, and it was just like. I don't know.
No, it looks clean. I like it. I like the RGB lighting. I like the pictures of the family. You could clearly see a picture of you and Chase right there.
Right there.
It's cute. You know, it's a cute little setup.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else. That other picture.
That was Chuck E. Cheese. That was from today. We went to Chuck E. Cheese today. And that's like Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. Chuck E. Cheese pizza is kind of good.
It is.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. It is actually kind of a good pizza. Like if you go to Chuck E. Cheese, you get their pizza. It's actually really good. You don't go.
The pepperoni on top is like what makes it.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever had the pepperoni there.
Really?
Obviously, I haven't been there in years. I don't have any kids. To take.
I guess. So
don't want to be that creepy ass man. I'm coming here to just play games, the quarter games.
So that's what Chase
Sorry,
and
sir.
his friend did before, like years before, maybe like 5 years ago. They wanted to go play games because you can like have a beer at Chuck E. Cheese.
Uh-huh.
So they went, and then it was just like weird. So they walked in, and they're like, "Oh, we don't have no kids. This is weird. Let's just go. Like feels weird. This feels so wrong.
Yeah, yeah. I can say that.
Just leave." Yeah. So they stepped their game up. I will say, where I'm from, in my town, they got so much new games, and it's like they stepped their game up. Like,
Are they still all a token?
no, so you have like a swipe card. So you have like a wristband,
Okay,
and then you just like tap it, and then it doesn't count the tokens. It, like, you know, if you put in like tokens,
it's like Dave and Buster's. It's like Dave and Buster's. They do credits.
Yeah, they don't do credits. It's you pay for an hour. You can play as much games as you want for an hour. I know.
That's kind of cool. What? That's kind of badass.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's maybe because of like the whole COVID. But yeah,
That's kind of cool.
I thought Dave and Buster's did that. No, they don't do.
No, Dave and Buster's doesn't do it. You know, you pay by the game. Like you do credits per game. So you buy like I think it was like 30. I think I spent like $35. I got 200 tokens or something. The game average is like seven tokens per se.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah. So that's the thing. That's interesting. Like that's actually a good deal.
Yeah.
How much?
And I mean,
how much is a wristband? I told you you and I would get on a tangent, by the way. I told you.
True. I mean, I think it's $25 for like an hour.
Like per kid?
Per kid, yeah.
That's not bad.
So per wristband, but I mean, like, so while me and Kyan are doing something, Chase is over here like doing something else, you know, like kind of raking in those.
Is he off on his own? Like, let's play games.
Yeah, well, not really. Like, he's beside us, like, to waste time. I like those coin machines where it like shoots up the coin and then it like drags down.
Yeah, pushes it and you get as many tokens for or tickets for every token that falls or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You like your prizes. You like your prizes.
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of competitive, so.
Kind of. We're doing a kill race right now.
We can log off and we can just put I can load up right now.
All right, guys, after this video, we are loading up and we're doing a kill race. Woo!
Who you got?
Oh my god. Oh man. All right, so since you just started off streaming, I love the new setup. It looks awesome. You did an amazing job. One of the things is let's talk about how you got into streaming. Why did you start streaming? When did you officially start? Those are the all combinating photos questions about streaming.
Yeah, so when COVID happened, I was bored, so you know what I mean? Like so bored. So I just seen on Facebook that there was these streamers that were gaming. And I'm like, hey, let's click on them. So there was mannor TV. So he was on Facebook. I went into his stream and he was playing Call of Duty. He was indigenous. He's from around my area. Started watching him, and then he started playing with Moose Tree Gaming, and he's in Manitoba, so like one province over, not that far away from me. And that he's also indigenous. So I started to see these people gaming, and I'm like, hey, this looks fun. Like, they're really entertaining, and their community was just a lot of indigenous people together in one group, and it felt like family. It felt like you've known them for so long, and so I was in there for a few months, and then mannor switched to Facebook switched to Twitch kind of when that whole charade happened with Facebook.
Okay.
And then so I downloaded Twitch. And that's where I was looking. I was like, hey, you can do searches. You can, like, I was so brand new to Twitch. It's like, hey, you can do searches. You can. So I looked up like resurgence, and I was scrolling through, and I seen Miss Shelby Jewel playing Resurgence the old map where construction was a thing.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. So I clicked on her and I was like, hey, what's up? I'd love to see another female gamer. And that was kind of like the history. And then I started to be in her chat every day. I was like, when is she going live? Because I think it was a night stream, which is like off.
Was it like ladies' night or something?
I was thinking, I don't remember, but it was nighttime because I was having a drink. It was a nighttime. I was having a drink, and it must have been like the weekend. So maybe it was.
Probably.
I don't know.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So then I was waiting. I was like, okay. I kept on checking into her channel, and I'm like, I like watching you. And then that's when I started to play, and that's where we met. Was with playing with Shelby.
Yes. The dark days. The dark days where we met. No, I'm just kidding. This is where our budding friendship just showed up. We all met because of show. It is very interesting how you go into a community and you meet these people, and then you just consistently just start playing with them, and then you become friends and things like that. But yeah,
it's so like crazy because like I see you guys as like one of my closest friends, and it's like we've never met before. We never even seen each other, but like it's just, yeah, it's explaining this to my friends. They're like, that makes no sense. You know what I mean? Because they don't have like the same interests as gaming, I guess, as I do. And it's, yeah, so it's just
to explain
on a different level.
To explain to your IRL friends that, hey, I have these connections with these people that online, and trying to describe to them the difference between IRL and on gaming. I think what people don't understand in real life is that even though we have never met, we talk, and we talk consistently, and we kind of know what's going on in life. I mean, I kind of know what's going on in your life. You kind of know what's going on in my life. It's the thing is, I don't think they understand that even though we have never seen each other, we understand what's going on in our lives and people, and then you build that connection and you build that relationship. And even though you've never met, it's still 100% of relationship. And it is, that's that connection, and you build that connection. And I don't think people understand that in real life is how can you build a connection with somebody you never talked to, when you never met. And I don't think people can understand that that version, because it's hard. And someone just said it's a new day pen pal, and it's 100% true. It is. You build this relationship with the people and the people in the communities and things like that, and it's absolutely amazing. So yeah. you met some streamers. You started watching them, and then you started watching Shelby, and then started playing with Shelby. And then how did you get into streaming? Like that's, you started watching them and you're just like, hey, I kind of enjoy this. There's, I mean, obviously something happened in life that allowed you to do it. So
yeah, so it's always been at the back of my head, but I was never the person, like I was so like my life, I always kept my life private. I never posted anything on Facebook, like nothing at all. So that, I think that kind of held me back, was I don't think that I can do that, putting myself out there. And it was in the back of my mind when I started watching Mannor and Moose. And then I was like, oh, maybe not. Like, it's just a thought in my head. And then I started to play with Shelby, you, and it was just, you guys were doing it, and I was the only one that wasn't. But it was, basically I was at home, and I would play with Shelby, and it was just kind of like, I thought like a joke, like, oh, you should start streaming. But then it kept on coming up, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should. And then I talked about it, and I talked with Chase, and he was so supportive. He was like, you should do it. Like, why not? And
that's amazing.
It is, yeah. And he was like, yeah, you should do it. So I remember I put the go live button, and I didn't tell anyone, but I was playing with Shelby. Didn't tell her. until maybe like an hour and a half into like the first stream. She was like, yeah, you should go live. And I'm like, go look on my page right now. And then that's where it kind of started, where she's like, what, you're live, you didn't even tell me. And yeah, so
she was probably a little pissed at you for not telling her.
I mean, I just wanted to test everything out.
To be honest, she was probably a little pissed at you.
I wanted to test everything out. Like, I'm the type to look at, I guess, myself before anyone else. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, well, I put up, it was my PS4, and my PS4 sounds like a jet taking off.
I'm telling you what, my old PC before I upgraded my PC was sounded like a fucking jet. Like it was like, and like that's the fan inside the case taking off, and it was so bad. Like because I overclocked it and everything, it would just go. I'm like, can you guys hear that? No, but I hear it. It's so bad.
Yeah, like like this PlayStation, like it's seen some better days. You know what I mean? And like that's all I was playing on my, I think it was like my 60 or 55 inch TV, and I always heard like it's better to play on a smaller monitor, a PC. But I took my camera, my PS4 camera, like, I don't know, put it on my lamp, put something behind it to hold it, and it was just me on my couch, getting stuck on my couch. And that's basically where it started, and that was this summer. It was just crazy. It's expensive. My God.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and then you started out, and then you upgraded from your PS4 to a computer, and you've been going ever since. And I'm getting yelled at, so I apologize for interrupting you. Hey, this is your show, not mine. So people are yelling at me. I apologize. They said don't interrupt her again.
Oh no, please do. I don't want to talk all the time.
Well, you keep interrupting her. I just got a text message.
No, I didn't notice. Please do, so I can take one of these.
So I'm going to talk about one of the most embarrassing stories you have. Of when you were streaming. I don't think you were streaming yet, but we might have been live. And you remember that couch? And the romper?
Yeah.
What happened? Let's talk about that real quick. The little funny side of Phoenix here.
I got stuck. So I was playing with you guys, and I don't know, I was laughing. So I like threw myself back, and I had like a clip on the back of my romper that got attached to my couch, and I was stuck. Like I couldn't move. So I sent a picture to Shelby and Neo, and I was like, I'm legit stuck. Because like you can't make that shit up, right?
Bro,
like you can't.
Like
and like I had to take a picture. I'm like, they're not gonna believe me. This sounds stupid.
All we hear in the mic is I'm stuck. We're like, what are you stuck? What do you mean you're stuck? Yo,
I'm stuck on my couch. I don't know.
She's never wore that romper on that couch ever again, guys.
To be honest, I don't think I have. I don't even know where that is.
The romper?
Garbage, probably.
The romper or the couch?
The romper. I'm still at the couch.
Still at the couch.
Yeah.
So
I haven't got stuck once, so we're good.
So being a new streamer and things like that, and being new into it, can you just talk about how scary it was, or how, like, realistically you went live for the first time and it was kind of I want to test it out, but then once you started getting into it, how were you scared to hit those go live buttons after that? Were you just can you talk on that, like, to other new streamers and stuff like that? It was because you're still new and you're still getting your feet wet, I would say. And can you talk on to that points of streaming and hitting that go live button, or being confident enough every day? Because it is a hard thing. I mean, I still sometimes have a hard time to hit that go live button personally, even though I'm all personality and not gameplay, but I still have to do a mental battle sometimes to, hey, let's go live today, let's do this and let's do that. And sometimes it's hard for me, even. I've been doing this for 2 years. So I'm pretty sure. Can you talk on that fact?
Yeah. It's like, for me, I was such a closed person. So I thought it would be super hard for me. I thought it would be like posting about like my stuff, like maybe on like Facebook. It was like never really a thing in my later years.
Yeah.
So like thinking of videotaping myself was just like a big no. Like, what if I say something wrong? What if I do something stupid? But it actually, I think it never really was like a big problem for me, which in my head, I thought it would be a lot worse. I think the challenge for me is the balance.
Okay.
The balance with having, so I have like children, like I have Aubrey and I have Kion. And then I have like Chase, and then I have streaming.
Chase is not a child. Okay, he is a child.
No.
Chase, I tried to defend you, brother, but I got so far. But
it's just like having a balance, and like having, once you stream, you have to keep up the and I'm not saying like it's a hassle, but it's time, which I never thought about. Like when I first started streaming, I never thought about, you have to keep up with these relationships. And I'm not saying it's like it's kind of hard.
It's tough. I understand exactly what you're saying. It's time balance between your life. And your family and your friends, and still making content. But you got to try to make content offline to try to grow if you want to grow and things like that. And you got to try to do this and try to do that. And like you said, build relationships, keep relationships, because I'll be honest with you, streaming is a cutthroat life. It is a cutthroat business. There is a lot of me in streaming, and not a lot of times you don't have those people that want to be, what can I do for you? I mean, there's a lot of show like of what can I help you, blah blah blah, and there's not a lot of true people out there that are willing to help others. But it's also the point of having that balance between, hey, I need to stream, I know I need to stream, but do I have the time? Do I have the energy? Or do I have to do other things in life? And sometimes real life wins over, and I would always say, in life balance, real life over streaming. But also it's, I mean, it's a little bit of extra income for you and your family when you stream and stuff like that. But I mean, is it the main? No. But if you were a full-time streamer, it's a different story, because that's your job. Just pretend it's a 9 to 5, you know what I'm saying? But streaming is really a 24/7 job. And like when you're streaming, there's no calling out sick or anything like that. It can mess up your algo. It can mess up with people. Like, people might feel betrayed that you're not streaming, but hey, I'm paying for you to do this and do that. It is 100% that balance. And I don't think people understand that balance, and it's hard to get right. And I'm still figuring out the life balance personally.
It's definitely hard. It was not like something that I even thought about, like at all. And like me going through like mental health, and it's just life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
100%. Everyone goes through it, but you don't think about it, you know? You don't, when you start streaming, it's something that is not thought about or even like talked about, I don't think, as much as it should be.
Right. 100%. When you're stepping into the streaming world, is a completely different world, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. And I really hope that when people watch these series of videos of Drinks with Neo, they can see that and they can realize that. And yes, you can do it, but it's not easy. It's not an easy road. It's tough, and it's hard work all the time. What age did you start playing video games, and what was your first game, if you recall? So yours was Super Mario Brothers 3, right?
I don't know if it was 3. It might have been like the first one.
Okay, Super Mario.
But I remember Nintendo, and then I really like Super Mario 3.
Okay. Okay. And then so from you remember what age that was at?
I must have been maybe about 5.
Okay.
About 5 years old. I remember that's the first game that I played that I remember.
For me, my first game I remember having a Nintendo, but really what stuck out of my mind was Excite Bike. So it was a little side scroll motorcycle game, and it's like and you could just go up and down hills, and you can actually create your own race courses and stuff like that, and edit race courses and things like that. So it's called Excite Bike. And
was that on Nintendo?
Nintendo, yeah.
Oh.
So that was probably like even, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 or 7 around that age. So we're gonna start talking about, so when you're streaming and stuff like that, there's a lot of things to think about, like your name, your logo, and things like that. So when you created your logo, so we're gonna talk about moving into your name, your logo, moving into your sponsorship also. So so first things first, let's talk about Phoenix and PHXonFire or Phoenix. I don't know if your last name has any meaning to it or not either. So but let's talk about that, and then we go right into your logo. I'm gonna pull your logo up on the bottom of the screen too, and then so your logo is now up and showing on the stream too. So we could talk a little bit about that also.
Yes. So the name PHXonFire, I thought it was really corny. The first time I made it, I'm like, is that cool? Like, I don't know. And it basically went with like Call of Duty, like people would be like, oh, she's on fire, like she's good. And so Phoenix, it's the wordplay with fire because Phoenix rising from the ashes. And that's like my first name. Where I got the Fox, like I didn't want it to have it be like Firefox, like the browser. So where I got the Fox was, it's actually I was given a name in ceremony, and it was Little Fox. So I think I might have been about 6-7 years old, and I went into ceremony, and an elder gave me that name, and
so
I have a tattoo.
So real quick,
yeah.
Not a lot of people may know, but they might have missed the beginning. You're talking about a ceremony. You're talking about giving a name.
Yeah.
Are you so obviously Indigenous people? You're an Indigenous person of Canada, and so I just want to make sure that people know where this is coming from.
Sorry. So yeah, me, Phoenix, I'm an Indigenous person from Canada. I'm from Cactuish First Nations. That's located in Treaty 4, which is in Saskatchewan, Canada. So like if you think of Canada, right in the middle, like, I don't know, think of Canada, like right here. I got pen on my fan, but it's fine.
On your what?
On my hand, fanned. But like, that's Canada. And I live right there. Just, I put that there intentionally. So.
Remember that comment I made? The shit that
Blonde?
Phoenix is?
I mean, it could be a series.
Oh my God, we could make it a series. I love it.
Yeah. So.
All right. So.
But yeah, no, that's like, I wanted to incorporate, you just snorted, it's fine.
Yes, I did.
I wanted to incorporate like the little fox and it being like fiery. So that's like the whole idea of where that logo came from. And I have a fox on my back too, and it's just stuck with me throughout my adulthood as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love it. It's a good, nice little logo too. It's simple. It's easy. It's complete.
Yeah.
And you
can go with the animals, and it's like if you have an animal, like emotes. Shout out Carissa for making my emotes. But
there we go. Big shout out time. So between, I guess the name, they gave you the name Littlefoot. How did that come along? Do you have?
I don't know.
There's any reason or rhyme behind it, or?
No, it's basically they just look at you and they can see something that they just see something in you, and that's how they give you a name. Because I'm Cree, and I went to a Cree elder, and you go in and you ask for a name, and that's basically what happens. They give you a name, like, and it's usually an animal.
Is it? So I said Littlefoot. It's Little Fox.
Fox, yes.
Okay,
I have big feet.
I'm being corrected here. So Little Fox.
Yes, Little Fox.
Okay.
Yeah.
So. Sorry.
Yeah, it was basically that. Went in there. I was like, hey, I want a name, and they're like, this is your name, whether you like it or not. Here it is.
Hey, I like it.
And I like it. I love it. Yeah.
So, but so we have Little Fox, and we got a little bit of little things behind that, and I like it. And you got your logo, so that, and you take that into your actual streaming, and I love it. So one of the things you do is you become sponsored. You were a little hesitant to announce it, but I'm glad you did, and it was exciting to know that, you know, you got a sponsorship that's absolutely amazing, and to represent the indigenous people of Canada. I'm assuming that's basically it's a Canadian-based sponsorship, correct? So what is the sponsorship, and can you talk a little bit about it and how it works? Not how, I guess, how it works, but how you got sponsored.
Yeah, so I was reached out. I got a DM in Twitter, and it was from Treaty 4 Esports. His name is Tristan. I think I'm saying that right. But ever since I played Call of Duty, he put on competitions in our area, and it was always Call of Duty, and he got paid through esports, which is wild, and like he got paid money.
Yeah.
Through esports, like, I mean, and he was from my area, so I look up to him, like, he's amazing. But he reached out to me, he's like, I think I have an opportunity for you, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's a little weird when people reach out
what
for you.
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
Me? What do you want me to do?
I don't know
what do you want me to do? Let's talk about this.
Yeah, so, and he told me about the sponsor who sponsors me, and he said, you know, it's not that much, but it's definitely something that you can definitely do. We're looking for female Indigenous streamers. Will you be interested? I'm like, heck yeah, sign me up. And they reached out to me, and the sponsor is Pingwa. So they're northern Canada, so like northern communities, more so like Inuit, but their whole focus is around basically like the digital world and learning through, or like teaching through, like gaming and technology and yeah, in that form, and which is amazing because
today's youth is a digital world. They are raised in a digital world. I mean, Kion and Aubrey are going to be using iPads and things and Google Chromebooks at school. It's a little scary, but this is it's a technology world that we're growing up into, and it's amazing that they can relate to children. And have them be able to learn through gaming. I mean, shit, growing up, what were we told when we were gaming?
It's not good.
Your brain's gonna rot. Your eyeballs are gonna fall out.
Exactly.
You ain't gonna become nothing gaming. Now in today's world, they're like, "Jeez, let's go ahead and use this gaming for something positive." And it's just crazy that it's like that, and how the world has changed in I would say 20 years alone, just within 20 years of how learning is being taught. And that's an amazing sponsorship. Now, can you say the name one more time? Because I'm not going to try it.
Yeah, so it's Pinghua. It's pronounced Pinghua, but
Pinghua.
It's yeah, it's.
I did it.
But yeah, no, and I mean, great. I never heard of them before, but they were super kind, super caring, and like, it's basically what I guess my role is to mentor and for future employment opportunities for the youth.
It's awesome.
Amazing. Yeah.
That is awesome.
So I stream on my page. They're like, don't change anything about yourself. Just do the stream on our Facebook.
Yeah, I was a little worried when you told me that you were sure, like, to get the sponsor. Like, I thought you were gonna have to like go PG or something like that, and change your personality. I fucking love it. They said don't change a thing and be you. That is a true sponsorship, because a lot of times when you see people get sponsored or something like that, I'm not gonna throw them underneath the bus, but I'm gonna throw them under the bus. I'm the Tap Man. That man don't play Battlefield 2042. But he had a Twitter sponsored post about it from EA Sports, because he's sponsored by EA Sports for the game. So that all of a sudden they were just like, he put out a post like, bro, I don't even believe you anymore.
Yeah.
But hey,
I mean, and it's,
you gotta pay me $25,000 to put out a post.
Money,
I'm gonna sometimes money talks, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, they said, I was like, hey, well, like, what do you want me to do? Like, tell me. And they said, don't change anything. You just multi-stream on our platform, and yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So we kind of touched base into the indigenous people. You're an indigenous person. You're sponsored by an indigenous people to stream. Now, guys, we're going to take this subject and we're going to talk about something that's close to Phoenix's heart, something that's she really wants to talk about. This may be a little dark. This might be a little bit sad, but there is, on the end, it's important that we talk about things, we bring things to light. And the reason why I bring this up is because, yes, this is going to be replayed on YouTube, so it can be watched there. But in the end, if you guys are watching, if there's any hateful comments on this video at all, they will be removed. This is a positive thing. Sometimes you have to shed light on something that's negative to bring something positive out of it. And this is one of the main reasons why I wanted to talk to Phoenix about. So if you guys have anything to say, especially in my mods in chat currently, please just pay attention. And if something comes in negative, I want it removed. So I know there's a lot of issues when it comes to the indigenous people of Canada. I know there's a lot of issues around the world with the indigenous people, even in America, North America, and the great USA. There's a lot of problems with Native Americans that they have, and rights and issues and things like that. The biggest thing you would like to talk about, especially since you work with the youth through your sponsorship, is speak about residential schools. And I know personally, like in America, I don't know what they called schools on the reservations and things like that. I don't think they call them residential schools, but in Canada is what they call them. Can you speak on the history of residential schools, the wins, the hows, whys of residential schools and things like that? So I'm giving you the floor. This is your let's talk about this. And like I said, if it gets dark, it gets dark. If it gets sad, it gets sad. If it gets happy, it gets happy. Let's just talk about it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for there could be like trigger warnings before I talk. There's also I don't know everything myself. I'm just trying to bring awareness. So the big thing is residential schools. And so I believe the first residential school in Canada was built in 1831, I believe, in Ontario.
Okay.
So basically, the whole reason for Indigenous or for residential schools was to put Indigenous children into these schools to assimilate them, and it was written down to kill the Indian in the child, basically. So they got the children into these schools. They cut their hair, and hair for us is super meaningful. Like you always see like the long braid, and it's just super meaningful to us and our culture. So they cut our hair. They gave us some foreign clothes, and they basically they had to read from like the Bible, because it was the Christian churches and the Canadian government who basically put these schools in place.
Mm-hmm.
And it was basically they wanted to kill off the Indians, but do it in like a civil way, to kill the Indian in the child. So that's how they worded it. And it was law for children to go to these residential schools. If your parents didn't want to send you off, because you would go there for months on end and come back in the summer, but you weren't allowed to speak your native tongue. You weren't allowed to go to see your parents if you wanted, if you missed them, if you were sick, if a funeral happened in your house, like, you know, like you didn't know. And there was abuse, all kinds, physical, sexual, like emotional, like every abuse you can think of. That's what happened in these schools. And there would be children that would run away to go home, and it would be -40, cold, and they would try run, and they didn't make it most of the time, or when they made it, they were dragged back and beaten and punished. And it was super horrific. Like, if you miss your mom, you couldn't go see your mom. And there was also, so they were sectioned off into like boys and girls. So like there was like a split,
yep.
Boys and girls. And when they were taken to these schools, they didn't know where like their brothers and sisters were.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes, like during lunch, you would see your brothers and sisters pass. And for people who would go and say hi to like their brothers and sisters, they would be punished. They would be strapped. They would be locked in like the basement.
That's tough. And
it's basically like, so after, I think the mandatory was 7 through 16, and you were supposed to speak English. So when you went back to your family, there was a whole disconnect in language. Couldn't communicate to them because they spoke just say Cree.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids that were in school spoke only English. That's what they were brought up with. There was a whole disconnect. If they were able to see their family again.
So I hate to bring the reference to this, but it sounds more or less they took the kids and put them into a concentration camp. Kind of sounds like that to bring the dark matter to it. So when you and I were talking before, I don't think I understood the magnitude. I didn't understand that they were taken from the families they had to live there. It wasn't like hey, my house is up the street, I go home every night. No, this is you live here for 8 years, 8 to 10 years, and this is life. So they tried to, like you say, kill the Indian out of the child. They basically tried to kill a culture by taking the children and making them learn a new culture to assimilate them into what they perceived what society should be like, which is absolutely insane to even think about in today's day and age. But that's crazy and sad.
There's so much stories that I've heard growing up that were just gut-wrenching, and it's crazy to think that children nonetheless, were put through this. And there was a lot, and like, trigger warning, but like a lot of rape with it was both girls and boys. They were raped and they were abused, beaten, killed. And I think that's where we can go into just this June. They were in Kamloops doing a search on the residential school, and they found 215 bodies of children. And then that's kind of what put motion ground penetrating searches on these residential schools. Yeah. And it's not over. Like, they found over 7,000 bodies.
It's insane.
And they only searched 20 out of the 130 schools.
There was over 130 residential schools.
139 residential schools just in Canada.
Okay.
And they found over 7,000 in just the 20 schools that they searched. And you think, these are children. Children aren't supposed to die in school.
Correct.
It just...
That's mind blowing, mind numbing to think. Now, do you know when the law started to change? I mean, for residential schools and things like that. When things like, so before we get into that, let's talk about some of these effects that the residential schools had on the indigenous people, on your people. These are your people. Mm-hmm. On your people, what the effects they had on your people as a whole. I mean, you said 1830 or something like that is when schools first started, or something like that. I mean, that's over 200 years almost. I mean, 200 years is coming up in 8 years, per se. To think that you've been affected for that long. Obviously, you've been affected longer because people showed up in Canada, when it was invaded. So
yeah. So the last residential school to close was near me, like 45 minutes away from me, in 1996. So that was about 25 years ago. So people think that, it was a long, long time ago. It wasn't. My brothers went to that residential school. My mom went to day school. My grandparents went to residential school. My aunts and uncles went to residential school.
Was it still required for your brother? Because your brothers how old are your brothers? Mind if I ask?
Yeah, they're 35 and 40, or 36 and 40.
So let's just be honest. Your brother, your second oldest brother, is the same age as I am. So I would have been required to go to a residential school.
Yeah, so it was, some of them were required, some of them weren't. Like, my mom went to a day school where it was still the same, but you were able to go home at night. But it was still the same
separation.
Same thing that happened to you in residential school, but you just got to go home at night.
Did your brothers get to go home?
No, so I think they went to the residential school in 1996. So that was, I believe that they went for about a year. Like, it wasn't long, but it was still, they still seen what happened in there. It's the people don't realize that when you have a disconnect from your family and you have family, so if your mother or your father didn't love you properly, how are you going to love your daughter or son that you have? There's such a barrier. And that also goes with like the how do you cope with it, right?
Yeah.
And people, they drink, they abuse drugs. It's their coping mechanism to what happened to them in residential schools, and basically trying to deal with it, I guess, which is tough.
I think personally, I'm in shock to know that me being 35, almost 35, I'll be 35 in a year in May, and to know that your brother went to residential school and was put into, they had to stay there.
Yeah, both of them.
So we get a little, you moving stuff around on your mic.
Sorry.
Getting some feedback. But no, but in a serious thing, to know that still in 1996, think about that. I was born in 1987 to 1996, that he was taken away from the family to sit there for schooling 40 minutes away and couldn't go home for a full year and away from your parent. To me, that is just mind-blowing, that because I wanted to get into asking what laws changed and things like that, and for you to tell me that it's still in 1996 that in a residential school that they still had to be segregated from male and female and had to stay there, be lodged there, and be away from your family. Like you said, this is absolutely mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. And to me, it is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Because me being who I am, I'm let's just be honest, I'm the white man, and not knowing everything that you've gone through and stuff like that, it is absolutely crazy.
It's still going through like it's called intergenerational trauma. Yeah. Because even though that I didn't go to residential schools, I'm still feeling the effects, and it might happen for a while, and it's hard to be like, you just got to break like the cycle. Well, and
that's the thing is how is the cycle being broken? How to break the cycle of your people through the abuse that they've gone through, but that's over 200, almost, let's just say 150 years of abuse. And how many generations is that? That's gone through. And like you said, you didn't have to go through that kind of schooling, but your family has, your moms, your aunts, your uncles, grandparents, things like that. Yeah, we are getting a slight echo. Did you move your mic by any chance?
I might have bumped it.
Hello. I think the echo's gone.
More? Okay.
It might still be there. It still might be there. I don't know. I can hear a little bit, but we're good. We're good. We don't edit this out, and we're gonna stop going. I'm getting. They're saying stop blaming her, Neo. It's you. It shouldn't be me.
Thanks, Goyles.
I would say everybody in chat has your back right now. It's all me. Apparently, I'm sorry, but to get back on subject, it's crazy to think that I don't have any way of saying I understand. I don't understand, and what you're going through. I can't say the abuse or anything like that, but I can understand what you're saying through what your generation going through, the disconnect between families, or disconnect between like you and your grandparents, because your grandparents been through something different, your mom's been through something different, and they might have treated you differently because of something like that. I mean, not only to talk about that, there's a whole language that could be lost, a whole culture that could be lost. And that's the biggest thing, is losing culture, losing language, losing history, losing all this stuff, because to assimilate you into a culture, there's plenty of movies out there on Netflix or in the world that you can watch and see these things. And it is absolutely crazy, like what has happened. I mean, a lot of things are being brought forward too, like, you know, Black History Month, Black Lives Matter, the LGBT community. But how often do you hear about the Indigenous people of Canada, or the Native Americans of something, until we go and decide to drill a pipeline or something like that on hollowed land and things like that? You don't hear these things, and they're not brought forward, and you don't know. And to me, this is just absolutely crazy. And we're just touching base on one problem with the Indigenous people. There's a lot more things that we've done that have affected and things like that.
They're also like we're just talking, yeah, like what you're saying. It's the residential schools is what we're just talking about. And that's one problem. There's also the missing and murdered Indigenous women movement. There's a lot of women who are Indigenous are more likely to go missing or murdered in Canada than any other group. Like, it's just facts. And there's a thing, if like you can search it up, it's called Highway of Tears. It's in BC, and there's a lot of girls, women who went missing. And in BC, it's all forest, like lots of trees. Like, you can go, like, if someone really wanted to, they could bury you, like, and you just went missing. Like, it's crazy. So growing up, and this is I don't know if I've ever told like much people about it, but growing up, I really thought I was one of the lucky ones because I didn't get abducted, taken. There was predator, rapist, I don't know, that was living in front of my house when I was 5 years old. When he came out, the kids ran for their lives. And I thought that I was one of the lucky ones because I didn't get taken, which is a crazy thought. I was 5 years old thinking that.
What?
So that's distilled into my brain that I was lucky because I didn't get taken.
Well, even as a child, having that thought, I mean, childhoods were ruined. I mean, I would say, I don't want to say your childhood was ruined, because but your childhood was affected because of that.
Aware.
To your childhood is completely different from my childhood. Mm-hmm. I never had to worry about a person across the street that would gonna take me, or and stuff like that. I never had to worry about that. I stayed out till the street lights came on. Outside growing up, we were outside and things like that.
Yeah. So and it's definitely I was thinking about things like this when I was 5 years old, and thinking now that I have Aubrey to think, I don't want her to think like that ever. Like, even if she's older now, she's 7, but like we were handed out flyers of this person's face, their house, and their car, and they said, be on the lookout for this because he's a child. I don't know what you want to call it.
Child abductor.
Yeah. So, and it's just basically, I remember just like growing up differently, as you could.
Yeah, absolutely. Child molester, sexual predator.
Exactly.
Of children. And that's just crazy to think that you had to go through. It's not only that you don't want her to worry about that stuff, but it's also, but you're gonna have to bring awareness to your child. You're gonna have to bring awareness to Aubrey. You're gonna have to bring awareness to Kion. I mean, being a boy is a little bit different, but I mean, I'm pretty sure if you were to bring Chase in right now, he could talk about some stories and struggles that he's been through. I mean, Chase is about the same age as I am. So not to put him out there. Sorry, Chase. Don't tell him I said that. But I'm pretty good at putting people's ages out there on lock, apparently.
There it is.
So, but I mean, let's be honest. Chase is probably going through things. I mean, being who he is and things like that. But to know that you're gonna have to sit down one day and talk to Aubrey and be like, hey, because
it's definitely scary because
just because of who you are, it's your bloodline, your descent, your skin tone, things like your life is going to be different. These are the things you're going to have to look out for. And I've never had to have that conversation.
Yeah.
And
it's something that obviously, like, when I talk, like, I don't, like, growing up, I always said I don't want to be, and I can say this word, so don't make fun of me. I don't want to be a statistic, right? I don't want to be that. I don't, like, everything's like working not in my favor. Like, just me being an Indigenous woman in Canada, like, just the odds are against me. And I every time that, like, I did something like graduated high school, that was a big accomplishment, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's just, we still, like, deal with racism in like today's world, which sucks. And it always sucks when racism, it's kind of like a backhanded compliment, like, oh, you're too pretty to be Native. Like, okay, thanks. Like, no? Like, what do you mean? Or, like, you're not like them. Yeah, I am. Like, I don't know what you mean by that. So racism is still alive and well. And it's...
That's funny that you say that. Remember that movie we talked yesterday, that movie I told you?
Yeah.
Montford. So there's this movie on Netflix. It's new. It's it's Netflix filmed it in with the Chickasaw Nation, and they actually the production company is Chickasaw, and I believe so. As I was reading on Google, and as long as Google didn't lie to me, but that whole statement is, like you just said, that backwards compliment. You're not like the others. That's not a compliment. That's not even a beginning of a compliment. You know, like, how do you perceive yourself saying it to somebody? Like, I just don't understand. Like, to me, it drives me wild to see racism. Even, I mean, the only kind of racism I have to deal with is reverse racism towards white people, and it's not huge, but it does happen. So, but it is crazy that it still goes on today. Things that you have to worry about personally as a woman and being Indigenous, and just, I'm glad things are starting to take the turn for the better a little bit, step by step. It's not going to get better right away. Obviously, you still have to deal with a lot of things, and one of the things you wanted to talk about is the steps that the Canadian government has taken to reconcile with the Indigenous people. What are some of the things that they're doing to reconcile with you guys?
There has been, it's called the TRC, the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. And they basically, it started with them gathering the truth of what happened to residential school survivors, to get a glimpse of, like, what do we do, right? Like, how do we compensate you guys? How do we, like, what is the steps to move forward? So the TRC made 94 calls to action, in different categories like education, law, just a bunch of different categories, to give people recommendations on how they can move forward with reconciling with Indigenous people. And so that, I guess, it's a start. And also another start would be just recognizing residential schools, with first having the orange shirt. And today I have the orange shirt. I don't know if you guys can see, but it says "Every Child Matters," and it's basically September 30th is when you're supposed to wear an orange shirt day, or orange shirt on September 30th, to recognize the children who didn't come home, the children who went to residential schools. And this year was the first, I believe it was the first federal statutory holiday, but not provincial, but federal. I mean, baby steps, right?
Yeah, no, they made a federal holiday across Canada to
recognizing, and I mean, there's still lots of steps that can be taken, but it's a lot more, I don't know if you want to say better, but than it was 20 years ago.
They're taking baby steps to they're trying to make it in the right direction, to do things the proper way, I guess, and recognize that they, at least the government, recognized there's a problem.
Yeah.
And
I believe in 2008 or maybe 2009, don't quote me, but our prime minister put out an apology to residential schools survivors and residential school goers, I guess. So I guess the truth needs to come first. Yeah. The recognition needs to come first before anything else can happen.
Yeah, so. and those steps are being taken to happen. I mean, as a Indigenous person yourself, that the government is actually recognizing this stuff, and that there's actual talk happening. How does that make you feel as a person?
I mean, I don't know if I will see like the end goal in my lifetime, but I hope maybe for Aubrey and Kion's lifetime, maybe somewhere around then, hopefully. But it's just, we're starting, right? And that's all that I could obviously ask for.
And that's the one thing. In your life, that's the biggest thing. Is why fight now? Why do you fight now? You fight for the future. You fight for your future. You're fighting for your kids' future. You're fighting for their kids' future, to bring awareness to these situations in the future. I mean, and that goes with any fight, like the LGBTQ, for Black Lives Matters or Black History and things like that. So things aren't lost and things are brought to the limelight and things like that. So it is for the future of your kids and their kids and their kids. And yes, maybe seven generations, we like to call it. So yeah, and it's, you may not see something, but you know that you can have an effect in that situation. It has to have some kind of meaning behind it, and yes. And that is something that to look forward to. I believe that if you have the option to look forward to something, things will get better. If there's no hope, if there's no action, then that's when you start to see the downward spiral. And I'm pretty sure in the 150 years of residential schools that you saw that downward spiral. You saw the effects of people, the alcoholism, the drugs, the being thinking that rape is okay amongst people and things like that. It's they thought it was a taught thing, that it was okay. Yeah. And like people, I mean, people are still going through it. You know what I mean? Like it's people are still going through it, and it's gonna be a thing for a while.
like there is First Nations and Indigenous people, like there's a high number of incarcerations. But that's just the effects of like intergenerational trauma. But
absolutely,
I just yeah, hopefully everything can be reconciled and people be on the same page in the end.
Fingers crossed. One day. So not only do you advocate for Indigenous people, there's some other streamers that you wanted to bring up that advocate for the Indigenous people of Canada. Who are these streamers and stuff like that, and that you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, so in my community, I guess would be the Mannor Gaming and the Moose Tree. Moose Tree's on Facebook, Marmar's on Facebook and Twitch. But also that I've seen a lot on Twitter was Shannon Baker and Witchy Twitchy. I think she's from the States though.
Okay.
But Shannon Baker is originally from BC. But on their Twitter, they advocate the shit out of Indigenous lives, and they advocate for them, which is amazing, because they're partnered Twitch streamers, which is, you need to use the platform, and they're using the platform for something positive, bringing awareness, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And they're female and they're Indigenous and like, go girl, you know what I mean?
That's right. Love it.
It's amazing.
That girl power. I love to see it. How does that make you feel, like to see that there are people out there that want to fight for this, that want to bring awareness? How does that make you feel as a person? I mean, because obviously you have a platform and it's and stuff like that. It's kind of not as big as you would want it to be, but you have that platform. How does it make you feel that you see other people that are on a bigger platform and having that word? And does it give you hope? Does it give you does it inspire you and things like that?
It's, for me, it's all about the youth, the next generation to come up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's to teach them, it's to motivate them to do bigger and better things for our people. And it's amazing to see Shannon Baker and Witchy Twitchy just advocating for us, because they do have that big platform to do so. For people who might not even think twice about going into or researching or even listening to First Nations or Indigenous people's matters. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
It's amazing that they're using, and they're on Twitter, they're amazing. Like, they post so much things about Indigenous lives and kind of keep their followers updated on what's going on. Yeah, so it's all about, I think, the youth and the next generation.
Absolutely. That's what they say, the next generation up is what matters. And you know, we've gone and done our parts, and now it's time to shake and teach the youngins on how to do things right and things like that. And that's why you see generational shifts happen all the time. One of the things I want to talk about also is Twitch. Twitch has has days for the LGBTQ community, has Black History Month, things like that. And this goes with any platform. You don't really see it on Facebook. You don't see it on YouTube. You don't see it on thru, whatever, Twitter. They just don't have Indigenous People Day, or they don't have even a day or an hour or a month or something that just talks about it. To have these great big platforms and not having to bring light, how does that make you feel as a person, that these major platforms don't want to speak upon something? Not only they may not understand it, they might not understand the crisis, but that they haven't taken that. Don't take this the wrong way. They don't see Indigenous people as important as the LGBT community or the Black history or the Black community or things like that, to bring up this awareness.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hopefully all baby steps, but hopefully in the future, I would hope to go on Twitch and see a bunch of Indigenous people on the front banner for a day. Like, just give us a day.
Yeah.
Or a month. I mean, it's I feel it's been too long, and we need to have our voices heard. And people just need to start recognizing, I guess. And like some people, like, I don't know, if they brush it under the rug, you know what I mean? It's not something that you can just brush under the rug.
No, not at all.
It's something that needs to be talked about. It needs to be brought to light. You need to have those conversations, those difficult conversations. So
absolutely.
I just hope maybe in the future that could be something maybe for a day.
Have you ever thought about reaching out to Shannon and Witchy and talking to them to see what they could do to reach out to Twitch or to try to have that? These are off the sprung questions, so you might not be ready for these, but
I mean, little Phoenix. It could.
Little Phoenix, and something to reach out to them. I know trust me. I'll tell you this, it's hard to reach out to people and things like that. It is so hard. I'm so lucky that, you know, I've had good luck with people reaching out, getting back to me for this show. But it's hard. It's tough to even get an answer back sometimes, and you feel defeated. Trust me. I tried reaching out to a couple people and just to get their story, to talk to them, and they don't respond back.
No.
My question is, what's the purpose of having a business email if you don't answer?
True.
Jesus.
I mean, hello. But honestly, I guess if you don't shoot your shot, I mean,
correct. I mean,
you don't make it in, right? I mean,
and what does it hurt? And I mean, that's just an idea that just popped in my head, off the block. So what I'm gonna do is, we have 17 amazing viewers right now on the stream. And what I want to do is I want to open it up. There were some questions. Does anybody are you comfortable with questions?
Yeah, let's go.
Taking questions. If anybody has questions that they would like to ask Phoenix, go ahead and start putting them in chat, and I'll read them. Please be respectful. Please be legitimate questions, guys. I know we all like to have fun and have an amazing time, but let's try to keep this towards everything that we're talking about. There are a lot of people that said how amazing you look tonight, by the way.
Thank you.
So how beautiful you are. There's a lot of people.
Can you see? I was given these earrings. Let me just show them off. Hold on.
Are they tails?
No, they're feathers.
Feathers? Okay.
But they have. I'll show you.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're beaded.
That's cool.
Wow, I was gonna type a question. Why did you delete it?
So go ahead, Max, ask your question. She wants to know if you're available for her. That's probably something Max would ask. But I know one of them, I gotta scroll back up through chat.
And I mean, I'm not like I don't hold all the answers. I'm just little old Phoenix, but
I'm just little old Phoenix.
Little Phoenix, but like I don't hold all the answers. But like, please, if you feel like, if you want to, I highly suggest Iron Horse. It's on Netflix.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about something else while we talk about this. Let's while people get some questions. Let's talk about some movies on Netflix. I brought up Mumford, which is a great movie.
I need to watch it.
So Mumford, the Chickasaw Rancher is a great movie. Is a great Native American movie to watch. So,
Iron Horse. It came out a few years ago. I cried in the theater, but it talks about residential schools and how it was. So it basically puts you in the light, like it makes you feel like you're a part of residential. It's just crazy.
Okay.
But it's definitely a good watch. Yeah.
Uh,
There's Muffins for Granny. There's When We Were Children. Okay, I can go on, but go ahead. Sorry.
yeah. Mags asked, so is she looking to be single in the future, asking for a friend?
Mag? No way. Unless Chase leaves me, then I mean.
She said that's basically what she's asking. If Chase leaves you, just let her know, is what she's saying.
Okay. I got you, Megs. Teach me how to play Fortnite.
Yeah, she said, teach me how to play Fortnite. She said, show me how to build and edit walls, please.
Yeah, so I can't build. I can tell you that for free. You can't build. Teach me.
There you go. So what is one creator that you look up to? Like the one, like what creator inspires you?
Yeah, so I think the one creator that I can think of would be Mannor, Moose Tree, and Shelby, and of course you with your hype man vibes. But those are the creators that I watch.
She said my name last.
Oh, I should have said it first. My bad. but yeah, no, I honestly, you guys just bring so much energy.
I appreciate that.
But yeah, and it's amazing. You make me cry.
Aww, we ain't gonna make you cry. Neo's so needy.
I mean, true.
I am needy. I gotta be represented somehow. Does Canada have reservations like here in America?
Yeah, so we call them reserves. So there is, and that's another topic for probably another day, but it's called reserves. I'm a part of the Kaktuishau First Nation Reserve. And not much people, like, there's people that live on reserves, but not much. I mean, you can't be, like, there's, like, only, like, one gas station, one school, one, like, not much. So, I mean, to do anything on the reserve, it's like there's nothing.
And that's why there's a high alcohol, and drug rate on the reserve, because there's not much to do.
No.
There's another movie, and it takes place in Alaska, and they introduced lacrosse.
Yeah.
Such a good movie. They introduced lacrosse to the I don't know what you call the native people of Alaska, to the natives there. But this is the city, and I think it was in 2012, has the highest suicide rate amongst children. It was when they were talking about the movie, and because they don't have an outlet, they don't have anything to do. The kids are smoking and drinking and everything like that. And this man flew in, and he only took the job because he wanted to take a stepping stone to get into another school, prestigious school, and you had to do a rotation at this school, at the school in Alaska. So he arrived, he tried changing things, then he showed them lacrosse and gave something for the kids to do, and he ended up staying in Alaska, working for the school, and it's a great story, but it's sad at the same time because
it's true.
Because of the suicide rate. The kids are taking their own lives and things like that, and the crime, stealing and things like that, trying to buy food in Alaska is crazy.
It's wild. I've seen a lot of videos, like especially now TikTok. They go in the supermarket, they show you how much a jug of milk is.
Yeah, like
wild.
It is crazy to even think of that. Keep the questions coming in, guys. Keep the questions coming in, because she has a lot of information she wants to give. If you guys have anything you would like to ask Phoenix, anything, it doesn't matter at this point, just ask anything you guys want to ask Phoenix. Make sure you guys put it in chat right now. Y'all like chatty Cassidy's, so I know y'all ain't afraid to ask questions, so don't be shy. But and it could be anything about the streaming, it could be anything about the Indigenous people of Canada. So what is something that you want to see in the future happen in what does the future of Phoenix looks like?
Phoenix, I mean, I don't even know what I'm gonna.
Simplified just came back in. He asked the creator question. So who is your creator you looked up to? She said You said Marmar,
Moose Tree, and Shelby.
And
but most importantly, Neo.
What? Me? Oh my goodness! So stop it! Stop it!
Yes, exactly.
But the least important, Neo.
Oh, so exactly, for sure. And it just, I think it just like it all ties in because like you guys are like such close friends with me, and it's just like,
yeah. So what is something like, what is the future of Phoenix looks like via streaming, via stuff like that? What are some goals that you have that you would like to achieve by streaming? I know you do a kind of part-time thing, but
yeah. Goals would probably be, and we've said it before, but it's all about the youth. So
what are some of these youth goals you want to do? Some of the things that you want to try to do?
I mean, I don't know, but it's maybe going into like the rural, like reserves, talking about my experience, and really touch base with my home community, where there's again not much going on. You know what I mean? It's go to them and tell them that this is something you can do. It's something that it's not far-fetched. It's something, yeah, it could be good. Like it could turn out good. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it doesn't hurt to try, right?
Exactly.
In the long run. What can we do, if anything, to help the fight from here? So what can the everyday person, non-Canadian or Canadian person, what can they do to help the fight? Is there anything? Is there a website? Is there something to help bring awareness? Something like that.
Yeah. So what we call them is allies. Allies. That's basically an amazing, like there's so much good allies out there that who aren't Indigenous but fight for Indigenous people. That's basically just doing some research, watching movies like Iron Horse or Mumford, and it's basically doing the research yourself. And if you were into like a group of people, if like racism were to come up, nip that in the butt. You know what I mean? It's being a good ally is just fighting for the person, basically.
So basically being able to go in and supporting Indigenous being a support factor.
Yeah.
You know, because guys, way Google works is if every time you search something, the first thing that gets put up on a Google search is something that's been searched the most past the ads that's not paid for. So the more times you search something, the more it gets put up on Google, the more that comes up in that search engine. Also, Netflix keeps track of how many times their movies get watched. So, and then more movies get made after that. FYI, Native American Heritage Day is the day after Thanksgiving. Irony in America. So.
And I don't like, of course I have like the turkey and stuff, but I don't go too crazy on Thanksgiving. Have the turkey, have the food.
Yeah.
But
it's different. It's different. I mean, for me, it's a holiday. For me.
Yeah.
It's a holiday and get food, get some good food, and you know, spend some time with some people, and that's about it. You know what I mean?
Important people. That's what you gotta. Family. Yeah.
Are they important though? I'm just kidding.
Dark.
Just kidding.
I thought the dark past.
Never. We gotta always bring it back in full circle. So I guess we're coming to the point in time. Is there anything like Phoenix's last words, like anything that you would like to say, or or bring up anything else, anything you would like to get off your chest? Or
no, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for putting me on your podcast and bringing awareness. I mean, that's a great ally, right? Like, it's all, people just need to know, and this is a great start. If they don't, you know what I mean, is to dive into what happened in residential schools. I mean, it's not pretty, but it's something to know about, right?
Oh yeah,
because it happened
no
in Canada, it happened in the States, similar, very, very, very similar. And just the missing and murdered Indigenous women, like, just do some research is what I want to relay, is because there's a lot of layers to it that it's a rabbit hole.
Now, so if anybody, so I guess my last thing is, if anybody has any questions and up to you, are you comfortable with them reaching out to you and things like that, and you being an advocate?
Sure. My DMs are open. Twitter, what it?
So you guys have heard it here. She is open to your guys' questions. If you guys have anything, best way to get a hold of her is Twitter. Also, you guys can check her out when she streams. When do you typically stream?
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday during the day.
Alrighty. I want to say, Phoenix, thank you so much for coming on. It's been eye-opening. It's been absolutely amazing. I learned a lot, and it's opened up some eyes, and it's opened up my eyes into some of your life and what you've gone through, and it's just puts more perspective on who you are and what you're about. And I already knew you're an awesome and amazing person, and you do great things. And you know, not only are you a mom and a family person, and you have all this life and heritage to keep alive and teach others and then your work with the youth and things like that is absolutely amazing. And I just wanted to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing and keep trying to be that shining light and shine the light onto the issues. And even though sometimes you might feel small and it's not doing anything, you are, and continue to work towards your goals and do what you do. So I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, and thank you for opening up to the podcast, and I really appreciate it. So
thank you so much for having me. It's been smooth.
Yeah. Except for like the first minute when I was like, hi, and you were like, I don't think he unmuted himself.
And I was like this, and I was like,
well, this is awkward. Normal us, basically. Normal us.
True.
So, well, ma'am, I will let you go and I'll do the outro. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
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 Thank you, guys.
Guys, I had to say, what an amazing freaking episode, chat. That was absolutely amazing. Guys, that was PHXonFire. What an amazing episode 10. As always, guys, remember to like this video, hit that bell, and go ahead and subscribe to the channel, guys, to get more information, more podcasts like this. I hope you guys have an amazing day, have an amazing night for wherever you guys are at. Much love, kisses, and hugs. Till next time, chat. I'll see you guys then.